Implementing Functional Analysis by Fabian. What is a functional analysis? A functional analysis entails experimentally arranging antecedents and consequences representing those in the person's natural routines so that their separate effects on problem behavior can be observed and measured. In layman's terms, functional analysis is what we use to determine the function of a child or client's behavior. How do we run a functional analysis? First, we must observe. Through that, we have to find clear, concise, and measurable data that any ordinary individual would be able to follow along and take data with. And once we have that clear, concise, measurable data, we hypothesize whether the function is one of our different test conditions. We are able to then manipulate the environment by arranging different environmental factors to determine, hey, is this occurring because there's lack of attention, there's lack of tangible access, or are they trying to escape work, or are they doing this for automatic reinforcement? We're able to determine that utilizing our three-step contingency or your ABCs. Establishing a baseline. Throughout a condition called play or the baseline condition, we will offer the individual free access to reinforcers with no demands placed. That's our antecedent condition. We will observe the behavior occurring, our behavior condition. Examples of that can be crying, elopement, aggression, or stereotypy. As the therapist, you are capable of reinforcing or punishing behavior based on how you respond to said behavior. That's our consequence condition. In our attention condition, our therapist the client was playing with begins to talk to another child in the vicinity. The client attempts to scream to get the therapist's attention. Through consequences, we can ignore the behavior, give attention to it, or offer a functional replacement. When the behavior spikes due to the child receiving lack of attention or no attention at all, we can thus conclude, hey, the behavior is probably occurring due to a lack of attention, so that can be our function. It's not always concise, so we have to go through our entire functional analysis and assess whether or not there are any other factors indicating, hey, maybe attention isn't the only condition that behaviors are high in. In our tangible condition, the therapist opens up a new toy dinosaur that makes noise. The client attempts to cry because they don't have the toy. The consequence the behavior therapist can do is redirect to a different toy, prompt them to use functional communication, or ignore the child completely, or offer alternatives. Any amount of consequence strategies you can probably do for any of these conditions. When it comes to understanding whether the function of the behavior is due to a tangible reason, we determine this whether behavior is high in solely the tangible condition or if it is just one of the conditions where behaviors are high in. Same with escape condition. The client is playing and then the therapist tells them time to go to circle time. The client attempts to run out of the room. The consequence the therapist can do is block the attempt, redirect, prompt functional communication. When behaviors are high in this condition, we can assume or we can conclude that there is some escape aspect function to this child's behaviors. In the alone condition, the client is on the swing going back and forth on it. The client begins to engage in self-stimulatory behavior that looks like spinning their heads in circles with their eyes closed. The therapist can redirect or offer an alternative. In our alone condition, this is where we see automatic reinforcement that doesn't necessarily depend on attention, escape, or tangibles. It happens concurrently through the entirety of the child's day or the child's session with the therapist. When it comes to